Well, I think we can all admit, and I'll start with myself, that I am absolutely stunned that the Boston Celtics have now fallen in this 0-2 hole against the New York Knicks. This Celtics team, in my opinion, should have had no problems getting past this Knicks squad. A team that, if it weren't for a late foul on Tim Hardaway Jr. that wasn't called and a 21-0 run that was given up in game one, potentially wouldn't even be here because the Pistons would have beaten them. And now we're looking at a Celtics team that is in a 0-2 hole against the New York Knicks. And boy, I am stunned. And I think the entire Celtics fan base has been absolutely stunned. And the Celtics really blew both of these games. They were up 20 points in game one and choked it. Historically bad 3-point shooting percentage. They went 15 for 60 from beyond the arc. They made NBA history with how bad they shot the three ball. That is an abysmal 25%. And we all know the excuse was the Celtics live or die by the 3-point shot. And that's what it was as we headed into game two. Okay, surely they'll bounce back and won't be in this same slump. Nope, it continued. And it started with Jayson Tatum, but the whole Celtics cast could not get a shot to fall from beyond the 3-point line. And now the sentiment stays the same. The Celtics are now down 0-2 and they live or die by that 3-point shot. And they have been really, really bad offensively. And they've gotten into a situation where they get up 20 points and they just take their foot off the gas. I've never seen anything like this. And for me, I thought the Celtics would absolutely murder the Knicks. And seeing how they play, getting up to this 20-point lead without being able to shoot the 3-point shot and without having Jayson Tatum be able to score all of these points, even proves my point even further. Like, this team should not be in an 0-2 hole to the New York Knicks, but here we are. And I'm going to break down this series so far for you guys. And we all know it starts with the 3-point shot, but in specific, it starts with Jayson Tatum. He has to be the number one guy on this team. He has to be the catalyst for the Boston Celtics. I've been writing checks that he has not been cashing. And we all thought he would bounce back in this postseason from him not winning the finals MVP last year. He struggled efficiency wise in that series against Dallas. He led the team in points, rebounds, and assists, but they ultimately gave the award to Jaylen Brown. Now you look at him not getting any playing time in the Olympics, the narratives, how Steve Kerr didn't play him. How is he going to respond? That was the big question mark throughout the entirety of the summer, throughout the entirety of this season. And now as we approach the postseason, he looked great in that Orlando series outside of the wrist injury. But now as we approach round two, we can't find Jayson Tatum. And that's simply what it is. We cannot find Jayson Tatum. He's averaging 18 points per game, 29% from the floor, 25% from beyond the arc. And I've gone through and rewatched some of these shots that he's taking. I hate his shot selection. Plain and simple, I do not like Jayson Tatum's shot selection at all. He shot 15 three-pointers in game one and only made 4 of them. There were so many different opportunities late in game one in the fourth quarter and in overtime where I felt like Jayson Tatum settled. He simply settled and did not attack the big men, whether it was Mitchell Robinson on him or whether it was OG or Mikal, whoever. He did not attack New York's defenders, and he had been so great against them throughout the entire regular season. That's why nobody thought that New York had a shot, because the Celtics were 4-0 against him on the regular season. Tatum had dominated this screen and roll action where they'd get Karl Anthony Towns to switch on to Tatum, and Tatum could do whatever he wanted. He could come off that screen, hit the three, get downhill, finish that way, or he could dish it out to his other guys and play make, and then the Celtics would be unstoppable. And that's what I thought we were going to see as we headed into this series. And now the Celtics find themselves in a do or die situation as they head into Madison Square Garden. The Knicks now have everything to play for. They originally were playing with house money. Nobody thought they'd get past the Celtics. Knicks fans didn't even think they'd get past Boston. But Jalen Brunson's been unbelievable. Karl Anthony Towns has stepped up in a big time way. And the Celtics now have to go on the road and be pretty much perfect. They do not want to go down 3-1 because it gets tough, because you put your backs against the wall and you give yourselves no room for error. I think the Celtics can come back from 3-0 just like they did against Miami. I think they can come back against 3-1, but you give yourself no room for error, just like they did against Miami. They should have not put themselves in that 3-0 hole. And then they get to game 7, Tatum blows up his ankle, and they can't win. Same thing in this series. They're down 0-2 now. and they have to be perfect. And the reason I still believe they're going to win this series is simple. It's because they are such a great basketball team. And when they put themselves in a do or die situation, they step up. And I've seen it in the past. I've seen it with this team. They step up when their backs are against the wall, and everyone's switching up right now. We know Twitter is going to be brutal, but Celtics fans in particular have been switching up. They're switching up on Tatum, switching up on Missoula, switching up on Jaylen Brown. You guys have to ride with the highs and lows because that's what it's going to be for the Celtics this series. Remember when they went down 0-3 against Miami and almost won game 7? Remember when they went down 2-3 to Philadelphia? Tatum could not be found the entire 3.5 quarters of that game. Then he comes out and hits 4 3-pointers in like the last 3 minutes of the game, then drops 51 in game 7 and they move on. Or how about the year before when Tatum drops 46 on the road in Milwaukee to set up a game 7 where Boston takes care of business? I've seen this team step up when it matters the most. And this New York team is not that good. They're really not that good. That's what is so frustrating. That's what's so mind-boggling to me, is it's like this Celtics team is a million times better than the New York Knicks. And yet they're just playing with their food. They go up 20 and then, okay, let's just settle for 3-pointers. There's a great stat that I saw on Twitter. Shout out Justin Turpin here. The Celtics, after taking a 20-point lead with 3:12 in the third quarter in yesterday's game, were 5 for 28 from the field, were 2 for 14 from the 3-point line, and had 6 turnovers. That equates to them shooting less than 18% from the field and them shooting less than 15% from beyond the arc with less than 3 minutes to go in the third quarter and beyond. And we know this Celtics team is historically great at shooting the 3-point shot. They had the most 3-pointers made this entire season in NBA history. They blew out the Warriors' old record. And then they come into the postseason in round 2, and the 3-point shot is nowhere to be found. And the thing about the Celtics is we know that they can win in a multitude of ways, in my opinion, but they haven't shown that. Their defense was bad in game 1. It was a lot better in game 2. They held Brunson to only 17 points. Josh Hart was the leading scorer for New York. So looking at the silver lining here and trying to be as optimistic as possible for the Celtics, because this 0-2 lead is not pretty. They did not take care of home court. They didn't even steal one of those games. They've lost 2 games by a combined score of 4 points. Looking at the silver lining here, they've shot historically bad from beyond the arc in the first 2 games in NBA history. And they only lost by 1 point yesterday. And they only lost by 3 points in game 1. Jayson Tatum has been nowhere to be found. Nowhere to be found. And they only lost by 1 point yesterday and 3 points the day before. This Celtics team, if they just make one more shot, they could still be historically bad. Jayson Tatum can still be absent. If they just make one more shot, they're in the series. They're up 2-0. That's what's so crazy to me. I don't think this Celtics team is going to continue to be this bad from beyond the arc. I love the way they play on the road. They have the second best road record in NBA history. They were 33-8 this past year. That equates to the second best road record in NBA history in a regular season. This Celtics team knows how to go on the road and win. They know how to go on the road and win. That's a big time bonus. And now they're a 5-point favorite in game 3. They've got to go out and punch New York in the mouth. They've got to get out to an early lead again, take the crowd out of it because they're going to be insane. Punch him in the mouth early, win game 3, switch all the pressure onto New York in game 4. If you take care of business in game 4, that's the game I'm looking at. I don't care about game 3. The Celtics will win game 3. I'm signed, sealed, and delivered. They're winning game 3. They have to win game 4. If they win game 4, they'll win the series. They will win the series. If they lose game 4, I'm going to be nervous. That's when I'm going to start to look at that panic button. I haven't looked at the panic button yet. I haven't even thought about hitting it. I haven't even thought about going in the same room as it. They'll win game 3. I still won't go near the room. If they lose game 4, I might open that door. I might open that door and look at it just a little bit. But they've got to get it done. They have to go on the road, be the dogs that we know that they can be, and take care of business. The New York fans, they were brutal in my comments the other day. I hope I'm not writing checks that Jayson Tatum and this Celtics team can't cash. And I haven't even gone over Kristaps Porzingis. If they can just get a little bit from him, this mystery illness, who knows how different this series looks? That's what I'm saying. It seems like everything has gone against them in the first two games. And if they can just get a little bit more in games 3 and 4, they're right there. They are right there. So, although that being said, I have the Celtics winning this series in 6 games. I think they've been playing with their food way too much. I think they'll turn up the intensity. Joe Mazzulla is still a phenomenal head coach. I understand he didn't take that timeout in crunch time, but Celtics fans, I understand. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. It's going to be a long wait till Saturday. But I trust Jayson Tatum to step up in the biggest moments. I trust Jaylen Brown to step up when the adversity is so big that it seems like they can't handle it. And if they can get a little bit from Kristaps Porzingis and a little bit from that bench and a little bit from the three-point shooting as a whole, this Celtics team is going to maul the New York Knicks. I've got the C's winning in 6. Do not give up on this squad. I'm Caden Kubler, and thank you guys so much for watching.